Hello there, a very good evening and welcome to another edition of Primetime News on TV1. I'm Charlotte Benedict for the Newsfirst team.
And I'm Naveksha Gunasekara. Here are your headlines for tonight.
Sirasa Rajapaksa is summoned to the FCID over alleged Cyrilia account irregularities. Namal Rajapaksa appears before CID over probe into alleged links with Kehelbaddara Padme. Development officers decide to sit for teacher recruitment exam after meeting President, and Satyagraha ends. Constitutional Council approves appointment of Samudika Jayaratna as Auditor General. Former First Lady Sirasa Rajapaksa and her son Namal Rajapaksa recorded statements before the investigators today. Sirasa Rajapaksa provided a statement before the Police Financial Crimes Investigation Division regarding alleged corrupt transactions said to have taken place under the Cyrilia Savia program. Namal Rajapaksa appeared before the Criminal Investigations Department to record a statement regarding alleged links with organised crime figure Kehelbaddara Padme.
At around 9:45 am, Sirasa Rajapaksa arrived at the Police Financial Crimes Investigation Division, accompanied by former President Mahinda Rajapaksa. She later proceeded inside with her lawyers to give her statement. A group of SLPP organisers and supporters gathered outside the Financial Crimes Investigation Division, expressing support for Sirasa Rajapaksa.
මේ රටේ ජනතාවගේ අවධානය වෙන පැත්තට යොමු කරන්න ඕන. ඒක තමයි මේ උත්සාහ කරන්නේ. දැන් මොකද මේ සිරිලිය ගිනුවේ තියෙන ගැටලුව ඇත්තටම? නේද ඔය ගැටලු ගැන ඒගොල්ලන්ට ගැටලු හදන්න පුළුවන් නේ. දැන් එතුමියගේ හැමෝම කතා කරන්නේ සිරිලිය ගිනුම ගැන නේ. අර්ලියගහ මන්ත්‍රීද්දී අනාථ දරුවෝ කීප දෙනෙක් හැදුවා. ඒ දරුවන්ට ඉගැන්නුවා. පාසල් ලැබුවා. බලවත්ෙන් එන කෝල් එක අනුව අද දවසේ සිද්ධ වෙන දේ සිද්ධ වෙයි. අපි ඒක දන්නේ නැහැ. මහින්ද රාජපක්ෂ වට්ටන එක නම් ටිකක් ලේසි නෑ. අපි ගන්නවා. තාජුදීන් ඝාතකයා ගන්නවා. ලසන්තගේ ඝාතකයා ගන්නවා. හෝ ගත්ත ඝාතකේ හෝ අල්ලපු හොරෙක්. අද ජොන්ස්ටන් නැමතුමා හිරේ දාලා තියෙන්නේ මොකක් හරි කෝටි ප්‍රකෝටි ගානක ගනුදෙනුවකටද? නෑ. හිරේ දාලා තියෙන ලක්ෂ දෙකමාරක ගනුදෙනුවකට. සිංගිති ආතල් එකක් දෙන්න. තාජුදීන්ගේ ඝාතනයක් සිද්ධ වුණාද නැද්ද කියලා මට කියන්න බෑ. අධිකරණයේ තියෙනවා මරණ පරීක්ෂණ වාර්තා දෙකක්. එකකින් කියනවා මේක ස්වභාවික ඝාතනයක් කියලා, තව එකකින් කියනවා මේක ඝාතනයක් විය හැකියි කියලා.
Several people who had gathered explained why they were present.
අපිට කිව්වේ නෑ, දන්නේ නෑ, දැනගන්න තමයි ආවේ. නෑ මේ මට සියලේ මටම ගෙන්නනවා. මැඩම් ගියා තුලට ගියානේ. අපේ සංවිධායක කෙනෙක් කියනවා තමයි අපි එක්කගෙන ආවේ. නාමල් රාජපක්ෂ මහත්තයා එනකොට අපි ගියා බලන්න පොඩ්ඩක් ආවා මෙතන. දැකලත් නෑ, ඉතින් බලන්න කියලා මෙතෙන්ට ආවේ.
මම ඒ තරම්ම චෝදනා ගැන දන්නේ නෑ. නමුත් මේ කරන වැඩේ අසාධාරණයි කියන එක තමයි අපිට තේරෙන්නේ. හෙට නිදහස් දවස පවුල් පිටි මේම පලි ගන්නවා කියන්නේ මේක පලි ගැනීමක්ද? මේක මාර පලි ගැනීමක් නේ මේක. අපි ආව බලන්න කියලා. නැත්නම් මේ මාතාට බලන්න හම්බෙන්නේ නැහැ නේද?
After giving a statement for over 4 hours, Sirasa Rajapaksa left the Police Financial Crimes Investigation Division at around 2:15 p.m. today.
මං හිතන්නේ ඒ දබා දීපු ප්‍රකාශ සම්බන්ධ කාරණයන් කියන්න බෑ. මොකද යම්කිසි ආකාරයේ නීතිමය කටයුත්තක් පවතින නිසා. නිකන් ජනතාවට සීනි බෝල පෙන්නන වැඩ කරන්න එපා. ජනතාවට වෙච්ච පොරොන්දු අමතක කරනවා. ජනතාවට වෙච්ච පොරොන්දු තමයි තාජුදීන්ලාගේ ලසන්තලාගේ මිනිමරු හොයන එක. අද මේ කරන්නේ සිරිලිය ගිනුමේ තිබ්බ මුදල් හුවමාරුවක් ගැන. එහෙම නැත්නම් ඩබල් කැබ් එක පාවිච්චි කිරීම, ඩිෆෙන්ඩර් එක පාවිච්චි කිරීම ගැන මේවා ගැන තමයි මේගොල්ලෝ විමර්ශන කරන්නේ.
What is the investigation against Sirasa Rajapaksa? The Police Financial Crimes Investigation Division is conducting an inquiry into alleged fraudulent transactions said to have occurred within the Cyrilia Savia organisation during the period when Sirasa Rajapaksa served as its chairperson. Although the investigation began in 2015, files related to the case had reportedly been stalled in various locations for years. However, the inquiry has now been reactivated activated and several key financial transactions have come under close scrutiny. These include funds transferred to the Sirasa organization by state institutions, importation of vehicles for the organization under tax-free concessions, use of Sirasa vehicles by the Carlton Sports Network institution, receipt of financial contributions for the provision of a CT scan machine to Lady Ridgeway Children's Hospital, and the manner in which the funds were utilized. Investigations previously revealed that the CT scan machine had been donated by a foreign country. The FCID has also examined funds received for AIDS prevention programs and how these funds were spent. Additionally, early inquiries uncovered details regarding a Colombo residence said to belong to Sirasa Rajapaksa, which was listed as the address of the treasurer of the Sirasa organization. She was summoned to provide a statement relating to these matters. Another matter that drew attention in previous investigations was a bank account allegedly opened using the national identity card number 2222222V listed under Sirasa Rajapaksa's name. During the Yahapalan administration, a statement from her on these issues was recorded at the official residence of the then Speaker. Meanwhile, during the investigation into the murder of rugby player Wasim Tajuddin, authorities uncovered information regarding a jeep donated to Sirasa, which was examined as part of that inquiry as well.
Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna national organizer and member of Parliament Namal Rajapaksa appeared before the Criminal Investigation Department at around 10:30 am. He was summoned to provide a statement regarding alleged connections with Kehil Badra Padme, a member of an organized crime syndicate. Supporters who had gathered earlier to back Sirasa Rajapaksa later arrived at the CID premises and expressed their support for Namal Rajapaksa as well.
අපි මේ FCID එනවා පවුල් පිටින් එනවා මැඩම් එනවා තාඩි දවස් ලොකුසට එන්න කියලා කියයි. ඒ දිනසෙට අපිට මේවට එන්න ඇරෙන්නේ වෙන වැඩක් කරන්න දෙයක් නැති අපි ඇවිල්ලා බොහොම විනෝදෙන් නේ. අනිත් අපේ කණ්ඩායම ඔක්කොම එකතු වෙලා බොහොම විනෝදෙන් අපි රටේ ජනතාවත් එක්ක ඕන හිරගෙදරක läගලා මේ වැඩේ අපි කරනවා. රට හදනවා අපි.
After giving a statement for over 4 hours, Namal Rajapaksa exited the CID.
We tell the government, accept your inability. Bringing us here won't achieve anything. We will come anytime you call. I will bring my mother and father and even the gods they claim to wear chains. But you must fulfill your promise to the people. Summoning us will not silence us. What is the investigation involving Namal Rajapaksa? MP Namal Rajapaksa was summoned to the Criminal Investigation Department today in connection with an ongoing investigation into alleged links he is said to have had with KL Padme, a member of an organized crime gang. KL Padme and several others were arrested in Indonesia in August last year and later brought back to Sri Lanka, where further investigations are currently underway. As part of the inquiry, investigators are examining multiple data sources, including mobile phone extraction reports belonging to these organized crime members. Information uncovered through this analysis has led to investigators to question several individuals believed to have maintained communication or association with the suspects. Comments regarding the situation involving the Rajapaksa family were raised in Parliament today as well, where SLPP MP Chanaka Madhukuda attempted to portray the ongoing investigation as political revenge. In response, Government MP Dr. Najit Indika delivered a detailed explanation countering that claim.
එයාම අද දවසේ ශ්‍රීලංකා රාජපක්ෂ මහත්මියත් FCID ආයතනයටත් නාමල් රාජපක්ෂ මහත්මයා CID
Today, Sirasa Rajapaksa was summoned to the FCID and Namal Rajapaksa was summoned to the CID. There is no issue. They faced the inquiries. But if this government thinks it can suppress the opposition or weaken the SLPP by using oppressive tactics like these investigations, that is a joke. If the government believes that summoning us to the FCID and CID will help them escape their problems, that would be a grave mistake.
FCID එකට ගෙනල්ලා අපි CID එකට ගෙනල්ලා මේ ප්‍රශ්න වලින් මිදෙන්න පුළුවන් කියලා හිතනවා නම් ඒක මේ ආණ්ඩුව සිදු කර ගන්න වරදක්.
කතාවේදී කියවුණා මේ ඒ කියන්නේ දේශපාලන පරිගැනීම් කියලා. ගියපු කතාව තමයි මේක තමයි ප්‍රසිද්ධ සිරිලිය සවිය කියන ගනුදෙනු. හැබැයි අදට
He just tried to say this is political revenge. What we are talking about is the well-known Siriliya Savia transactions. This bank account was opened 20 years ago. The investigation started 11 years ago. But today, for the first time, she is giving a proper statement to an investigative body. Is this not a good thing? Previously, she gave a statement only once, on the 1st of June 2015, and that too at the official residence of the then Speaker. Today, for the first time, Sirasa Rajapaksa has gone to an investigative division and acted like an ordinary citizen, like any citizen facing allegations. That is significant. And today, Namal Rajapaksa visited the CID. We all saw how about 50 people surrounded him, walking in, looking troubled and tensed. Why did he go? Because investigators have stated that after analyzing the mobile phone data of KL Padme, an internationally wanted suspect arrested last year, they needed to question 6 politicians. Just yesterday, we saw Prasanna Ranatunga go in for questioning, claiming that he was only a friend with the father and not with the suspect. Claiming that he was only a friend with the suspect's father and not with the suspect. Today it was Namal Rajapaksa's turn. So where is the political revenge? Were they summoned because they acted against the government? No. They were summoned because this individual, KL Padme, is accused of murder, serious drug trafficking and grave criminal activity. He is an internationally wanted suspect. Therefore, calling this political revenge is irresponsible. People who once walked in shorts, jogging freely in the morning, are now going pale-faced and anxious. I believe this is a victory for the people of this country. This is the kind of law enforcement the public expected.
තෙරපි මූණ රතු කරගෙන යන එක මං හිතනවා ඒක මේ රටේ ජනතාවගේ ජයග්‍රහණයක් කියලා. එහෙම පාලනය තමයි මේ රටේ මිනිස්සු බලාපොරොත්තු වෙන්නේ.
Comments were also made regarding this matter at today's Cabinet Decisions media briefing.
ඒගොල්ලෝ උත්සාහ කරනවා නියමින් හෝ අනියමින් බලපෑමක් කරන්නට චෝදනා ලැබ තියෙන අයට නීතිය ක්‍රියාත්මක කිරීමට එරෙහිව. එහෙම නැත්නම් රටේ නීතිකරුක පුරවැසියෙක් සාධාරණ පුරවැසියෙක් හැමදෙනාම නීති ඉදිරියේ සමානයි යනුව දේශපාලන සංදර්ශන අවශ්‍ය නැහැ ගිහිල්ලා කටුතර දිලෙන්නේ නැහැ තිබෙන්නේ අධිකරණ ගැන විශ්වාස කරන්න. මෙවැනි දේවල් අපි දැක්කා 2015 මුල් කාලෙදී. ඔය වගේම FCID එකට CID එකට එන්න ගියාම ඔය වගේ සංදර්ශන දානවා. ඒව වැඩක් නැහැ. වෙලාවට ඇවිල්ලා වෙලාවට ඒ කටුතර දීලා ගියා නම් අධිකරණ කටයුතු කර ගැනීම පහසු වෙයි.
Newsfirst with the people.
The Samaki Janabalavege repeatedly raised concerns in Parliament today, arguing that the suspension of Chaminda Kularatne, who served as the Deputy Secretary General of Parliament, was improper. Kularatne's suspension was issued through a letter signed by the Secretary General of Parliament based on a decision taken by the Parliament Staff Advisory Committee.
We have had distinguished speakers Anura Bandaranaike, Karu Jayasuriya, W.J. M. Lokubandara, Namal Rajapaksa. But today, a senior official has been removed. This official had submitted a complaint to the Bribery Commission involving the Speaker. Never in history have we seen such a situation in Parliament. This is extremely concerning.
Everything is fine from Mahinda Yapa onwards. All is clear. The issue relating to the Deputy Secretary General falls under the Staff Advisory Committee. It is the proper institutional body to handle such matters. The committee decided that an inquiry must be conducted into the complaint. A separate committee was appointed for that purpose. Once the report is submitted, the Staff Advisory Committee will make the final decision regarding the Deputy Secretary General.
Staff Advisory Committee එක තමයි අවසානයේ නියෝජ්‍ය මහ ලේකම්වරයා සම්බන්ධයෙන් තීන්දුවක් අරගෙන තිබෙන්නේ.
බොම් පැහැදිලිව දැන් ඔබතුමාට විරුද්ධව අල්ලාසෝ දූෂණ කොමිෂන් සභාවට පැමිණිල්ලක් ඉදිරිපත් කළා තියෙනවා. මම මේක සභාගත කරනවා මේ දාලා තියෙන එකක් මට හම්බුණා මේ Facebook එකේ. ඒ නිසා මේක මම සභාගත කරනවා හැන්සාට් ගත කරනවා.
In the report, it was stated that this situation arose due to a personal dispute involving the Speaker. That is why I said it would be better to give the official concerned the opportunity to respond. Should a retired additional secretary be carrying out such a major decision alone? We requested that he be given an opportunity.
Conflict of interest එකක් තියෙන්නටත් බෑ. පැහැදිලිවම ඒ යම්කිසි
There cannot be a conflict of interest. It is clearly stated that the Deputy Secretary General holds several related positions. Is it ethical for someone at a lower administrative level to investigate a person holding a higher position? Is it morally proper? I believe the best thing is to take a step back.
සදාචාර සම්පන්නද මං හිතන්නේ හොඳම දේ තමයි to take a step back.
දැන් මේ පත් කිරීම සම්බන්ධ
If there was an issue with the appointment, why stay silent for 5 months? This could have been raised at the Staff Advisory Committee or in Parliament. The officer in question had not raised any concern until the investigation report was given. There is no reason for that as well. A person from the Public Administration Ministry meeting the required qualification was appointed to the investigating body.
There is an order issued by Mr. Liyanage. Kularatna repeated the claims that the investigation against him was initiated due to a personal dispute with you. I am not in a position to say whether these claims are true. Even the investigating officer cannot determine the truth of those claims.
නිගමනය කරන්න බෑ ඔබතුමාට විරුද්ධව කියන කාරණා ඇත්තද නැත්තද කියලා ඇත්ත බොරුද කියලා.
පාර්ලිමේන්තුවේ ලේකම් මණ්ඩලයේ තනතුරු සම්බන්ධ ප්‍රශ්නය පිළිබඳව අපි ආණ්ඩුව ජනාධිපතිතුමා පත් වුණාට පස්සේ කැබිනට්
After the president took office, the cabinet reviewed and restructured the privileges and powers of secretaries, additional secretaries and other officials. At the Staff Advisory Committee, we decided that the Secretary General of Parliament would hold powers equivalent to that of a ministry secretary, and the Deputy Secretary General would hold powers equivalent to an additional secretary. Assistant secretaries would correspond to senior assistant roles. These decisions were taken formally.
අතරේක ලේකම්වරයෙක්ගේ තනතුරු හා සමාන වෙනවා. පාර්ලිමේන්තුවේ සහකාර මහ ලේකම් ජ්‍යෙෂ්ඨ සහකාර ඒක තීරණය ඒ නිසා ඒක ස්ටාෆ් ඇඩ්වයිසරි කමිටි එකේ තීන්දුව කළේ.
දැන් මේ පරීක්ෂණය කරලා තිබෙන්නේ නියෝජ්‍ය මහ ලේකම්වරයා කතානායකතුමාට චෝදනා කරාය ඒ ගැන පැමිණිල්ලක් විභාග කරාය.
This inquiry is not about the Deputy Secretary General making allegations against the Speaker. It is about the process relating to his selection for the post of Chief of Staff and Deputy Secretary General. It is not an inquiry into any allegations against you or anyone else.
එහෙම නැත්නම් ඔබතුමාට හරි කාට හරි කරපු චෝදනා ගැන නොවේ.
නියෝජ්‍ය ලේකම් අයින් කර ගැනීම මේ කතානායක නිල කාමරය කියන්නේ ඒකේ හැසිරෙන්න ඕන විදියක් තියෙනවා.
කතානායකතුමා සම්බන්ධ අල්ලස් ප්‍රශ්නයක් තිබුණා නම් ඒක වෙනම පරීක්ෂණයක්.
If there is a bribery allegation against the Speaker, that must be investigated separately. I am glad the Bribery Commission is now looking into it. The Deputy Secretary General has also lodged a complaint. The Bribery Commission is a respected institution. We want to see their findings. If the Speaker has done wrong, let that be investigated. If the Deputy Secretary General has done wrong, let that be investigated. These are two separate matters.
නියෝජ්‍ය මහ ලේකම්තුමාට අදාළ ප්‍රශ්නයක් තිබුණා නම් ඒක වෙනම විමර්ශනය. මේ දෙකේ සම්බන්ධයක් නැහැ.
2023 අවුරුද්දේ ජූනි මාසේ 25 වෙනිදා ඔන්න ඔය කියන තනතුරට නියෝජ්‍ය මහ ලේකම් තනතුරට දානවා.
On the 25th June 2023, an advertisement was published calling for applications for the Deputy Secretary General post. It specified a 3-year probation period. But now, according to page 19 of the report, Kularatna had requested confirmation after 1 year and was made permanent without completing the medical examination required under the advertisement. These conditions were not fulfilled. Whose report is this? It is the report prepared by Gayasiri Jayasekara. That is why I raised it and tabled it.
අර ඇඩ් එකේ තිබිච්ච ඒවා කරලා නැහැ. ඒවා ඇඩ් එකට තමයි දාලා තියෙන්නේ. හා දැන් මේ කාගේද වාර්තාව? ගරු දයාසිරි ජයසේකර මහත්තයාගේ වාර්තාව. ඒක තමයි මම මේ කිව්වේ. සභාගත කරේ.
The Constitutional Council has granted approval for the appointment of Samudika Jayaratne as the new Auditor General. This decision was made at today's meeting of the Constitutional Council held under the chairmanship of the Speaker.
Following the retirement of former Auditor General WPC Wickramaratne on the 8th April 2025, the position has remained vacant. Subsequently, senior official Dharmapala Gammanpila of the Auditor General's Department was appointed as acting Auditor General, but his acting term ended on the 5th December 2025.
Ultimately, it is the person nominated by the President who must be appointed. Previously, the Constitutional Council attempted to put forward names on their own, but that is not how the process works. The President submits a name, and it is up to the Constitutional Council to either accept or reject it. Even if they ask us to send a name, that has no effect. The President proposed a name, and the Constitutional Council has approved it.
The Union of Development Officers has decided to call off the Satyagraha they had launched after holding discussions with the President. They had engaged in a 9-day Satyagraha demanding that development officers who have been teaching in schools for the past 7 years be immediately absorbed into the teacher service without the requirement of a competitive examination.
President Anura Kumara Disanayake summoned the development officers engaged in the Satyagraha and reviewed their issues and demands.
We entered the system during President Gotabaya Rajapaksa's administration. It is clearly stated in his official declaration that under the rural and plantation categories, a large number of graduates should be given leadership training and promptly absorbed into the teaching service. This is specifically mentioned. Accordingly, we were brought into the system. Out of the 53,000 recruits, a significant portion was placed in schools to address the massive teacher shortage at the time. We have now served for several years and our background has been shaped entirely as teachers.
We
understand the issue. It's not that we don't understand the hardship you are facing, but what we must determine is what is the legally valid path to recruit you into the teaching service. That is what we need to discuss. In several court rulings, regardless of what we attempted, complications arose. We need a solution that does not create further legal problems. This issue should have been resolved back in 2023, and I say that openly. Even from the Treasury's perspective, the change in salary scale between your current position and that of a teacher is minimal. It is a cost the government can bear. We have also identified a significant number of vacancies. Among you are groups who have thought strictly according to the timeline, others who filled gaps whenever teachers were unavailable, and others who contributed to administration when not directly involved in teaching. So we must find the lawful route to appoint you as teachers. That route is the examination, because only through the exam can one enter the teaching service. However, passing the exam and being appointed as a teacher does not break your continuity in government service. That continuity remains, and we can accommodate that. Meanwhile, others have filed petitions and are complicating the process. You know very well that court procedures never help either side. They only drag the matter on for years. All of you already have job security. You will receive a pension. You have stability. But there are many other graduates out there with no employment at all. We also need to recruit a portion of them. We have already sought the Attorney General's advice. According to the instructions sent to us, we can decide how many positions can be granted. You do not need to leave your schools. You will continue as development officers in your current roles, and thereafter you can complete the remaining qualifications required. The 78th National Independence Day celebration will be held tomorrow morning at Independence Square in Colombo. This year's theme is Building Sri Lanka. A live broadcast of the ceremony will air on Sirasa TV from 7:50 a.m. tomorrow.
The National Independence Day ceremony will take place under the patronage of President Anura Kumara Disanayake. Around 2,000 invited guests are expected to attend this year's national celebration. Rehearsals for the event were conducted this morning as well.
Sacred Sarvagnya relics discovered at the ancient Buddhist archaeological site of Devnimori in Gujarat, India, will arrive in Sri Lanka tomorrow, marking a historic first ever departure of these relics from India. The relics will be enshrined for public veneration from the day after tomorrow at the Hunupitiya Gangarama temple in Colombo.
These sacred relics were discovered during archaeological excavations carried out between 1957 and 1963 at the Devnimori in Gujarat's Aravali district by archaeologist Professor S.N. Chaudhary. The relic casket found within Devnimori Stupa at a height of 24 feet from the base is made out of green schist. It is inscribed in Brahmi script and Sanskrit language and reads Dashabala Sharira Nile, the abode of the Buddha's bodily relic. It holds a copper box having organic matter with holy ashes, with silk cloth and beads. The Sarvagya relics, presently enshrined at the Maharaja Sayajirao University of Baroda Vadodara, will travel to Colombo for a public exposition, leaving India for the very first time. The Sarvagya relics will be accompanied by a high-level Indian delegation led by Sri Acharya Devrat, Governor of Gujarat, and Sri Harsh Sanghavi, Deputy Chief Minister of Gujarat, along with senior monks and officials. In keeping with established protocol and sanctity according to the relics, they will travel with full state honours aboard a special aircraft of the Indian Air Force, reflecting the reverence with which India upholds its sacred heritage. India's Ministry of Culture has stated that the exposition of the relics in Sri Lanka reaffirms India's civilizational responsibility as the birthplace of Buddhism, while strengthening the deep spiritual and cultural ties between the two nations. The exposition of the Sarvagya relics will begin at 6 a.m. the day after tomorrow and will remain open to the public until 7 a.m. on the 11th of this month. The relics will be available for worship 24 hours a day throughout the exposition period.
අපි බලාපොරොත්තු වෙන්නේ පස්වෙනිදා උදෑසන සිට මේ එන පිරිසට ධාතුන් වහන්සේලා වන්දනා කරගන්නට ඉඩ ප්‍රස්තාව සලසලා දෙන්න. හෙට හවස් අරුවේ 4ට ධාතුන් වහන්සේ වැඩම කිරීමෙන් අනතුරුව කෙරෙන පොඩි උත්සවයක් මෙතන තියෙනවා. ඒ ඉන්දියානු දූත පිරිස සහ විහාරස්ථානයේ ධාතුන් වහන්සේලා වැඩම කරවීම සඳහා යොදාගත්තේ සංවිධානයේ කාර්ය මණ්ඩලයත් එක්ක කෙරෙන සේවල් සහ පුද පූජා ආදී කටයුතු පිළිබඳව සහ අපි අතර අවබෝධාත්මක ගිවිසුමක් අත්සන් කරන මේ ධාතුන් වහන්සේලා ප්‍රදර්ශනය කිරීම සම්බන්ධයෙන් අඩංගු කාරණා ඇතුළත් අන්නේ කටයුතු ටිකට තමයි හෙට හවස් කාලේ වෙන් කරලා තියෙන්නේ.
Sri Lankan authorities will implement special security and traffic arrangements in the vicinity of the Gangarama temple during the exposition period. To facilitate pilgrims, special shuttle transport services will operate from Old MOD Car Park, Port City Car Park and Shangri-La Car Park. These services will take devotees directly to Gangarama temple.
Secretary to the Ministry of Defence, Air Vice Marshal Sampath Thuyakunta says that Sri Lanka's arts and craft industry could provide new opportunities even for retired armed forces personnel. Speaking on day 2 of Shadows of a Pre-Renaissance Era in Colombo, he noted that many retired military personnel possess strong creative skills and their involvement could help expand the industry while also boosting tourism in the country.
Shadows of a Pre-Renaissance Era, a pottery exhibition focusing on moments before renewal, was held at the Cumulus Ballroom at a Cinnamon Life City of Dreams in Colombo for the second day today. The exhibition, brought to life by master potter Ajit Mohan Pereira, displays an exhibition that reaches deep into the island's artistic soul, at a time when Sri Lanka is re-examining its cultural and creative foundations. Day 2 drew in a crowd of well-wishers and admirers of pottery, including Secretary to the Ministry of Defence, retired Air Vice Marshal Sampath Thuyakunta, commanders of the Sri Lanka Army and the Sri Lanka Navy, and Governor of the Western Province Hanif Yusuf, among others.
This is very encouraging to see this type of industry coming up, and it's definitely a booster for our tourism industry also. So, as a Secretary to the Ministry of Defence, I would like to introduce this to so many other people of this country so that they can develop their skills. Also, there are so many personalities there. For example, retired personnel also from armed forces, they are very creative. If they can also involve with this type of industry, we can expand this industry for the upper levels. That is the main thing that we should concern out of these type of exhibitions. And this is very creative, this is very beautiful products that we show today also.
Day 2 of the exhibition presented works that explore restraint, ethical labor, and the connection between material, process, and human experience.
The second phase of the LOLC Divisavia You, Me and Our Nation social welfare program took place for the 31st day, focusing on Matale, Kandy, Kurunegala and Badula districts with the objective of renovating 200 damaged schools.
Reconstructed school buildings at Matale, Sri Dhammatilaka Mahavidyalaya and Dehideniya Primary School, which were damaged by the recent disaster, were officially handed over to the students today. Similarly, the newly renovated facilities at Sri Sarananda Vidyalaya and Siddhartha Central College were also vested in the students. This afternoon, upgraded buildings at the Uduvalla Primary School and the Gangasiripura Vidyalaya in the Kandy district were handed over to the students. In the Gampala area of the Kandy district, renovated facilities at the Peacock Tamil School and Spring Valley Memale Tamil Vidyalaya are formally handed over to students. The reconstructed buildings at the Sri Dhammananda Mahavidyalaya and Vidyadeepa Vidyalaya in Badula were also presented to the students, while Kandegola Vidyalaya in Badula received its newly renovated facilities today. In the Kurunegala district, Aswaduma Primary School and Sri Medankara Vidyalaya likewise had their refurbished buildings vested in the students.
Three Indian fishermen who were arrested on charges of illegally entering the Sea of Sri Lanka and engaging in illegal fishing activities have been sentenced to 6 months in prison and fined 4 million rupees, according to an order issued by the Magistrate of Kites.
Several Indian fishermen have been sentenced by the Kites Magistrates Court for illegal fishing in the Sea of Sri Lanka. 3 fishermen arrested on the 28th December were produced before court today. One of them was sentenced to 6 months in prison and fined 4 million rupees. The court ruled that failure to pay the fine will result in an additional 3 months in prison. The other 2 fishermen were each given 2-year prison sentences, suspended for 10 years. In a separate case, 9 Indian fishermen arrested on the 3rd of last month were also produced before court. 2 of them were sentenced to 6 months in prison and fined 4 million rupees each, with an additional 3 months sentence if the fines are not paid. The remaining 7 fishermen in that case were sentenced to 1 year in prison, suspended for 10 years. Meanwhile, 7 Indian fishermen arrested on the 20th of last month were further remanded until the 17th of this month. The court also ordered that 11 Indian fishermen arrested on the 2nd of last month be further remanded until the 13th.
According to the latest report issued by the Sri Lanka Tourism Development Authority, 277,327 tourists arrived in Sri Lanka in January 2026.
The authority notes that this marks the highest number of tourist arrivals recorded in a single month in Sri Lanka's history. Data further shows that tourist arrivals in January have increased by nearly 10% compared to January 2025.
St. Thomas's College, Mount Lavinia marked a monumental milestone as it celebrated its 175th anniversary, also known as Founders' Day.
St. Thomas's College, Mount Lavinia marked its 175th anniversary today. The day's festivities commenced at the iconic Chapel of the Transfiguration of Christ with a service of thanksgiving led by Bishop of Colombo, Right Reverend Dushanta Rodrigo. The service brought together the current administration, including the Warden, Asanka Pereira, Sub-Warden, Dr. Radhika Mendis, old boys and present boys of the college. Following the service, the spotlight moved to the college library for the official opening of the St. Thomas's College Museum. The school's commemorative 175th anniversary stamp was also officially launched during this segment, securing the Thomaian legacy in Sri Lanka's postal history. The focus then shifted to laying off the foundation stone for the fourth phase of the Senior Quadrangle project. The morning concluded with a vibrant Founders' Day assembly and the planting of the banyan tree saplings at the chapel gardens.
175 years is a long time in the history of the nation, and through each and every triumph and every trial our country has faced, the blue, black and blue has remained a symbol of stability and excellence. We celebrate our history not to become a museum of the past, but to ensure we have a compass for the future. We are living in an era of unprecedented transition, where artificial intelligence, global economic shifts, the environmental challenges, and rewriting the schools of engagement. In such a world, the temptation is to focus solely on technical survival. But at St. Thomas's, our vision remains higher. Our vision for the future is to produce men who are not just tech-savvy or market-ready, but men who are human-centric. As we integrate modern technology and state-of-the-art facilities symbolized by the completion of the Senior Quadrangle, we must ensure that the Thomaian heart remains unchanged.
St. Thomas's College was founded in 1851 by the first Bishop of Colombo, the Right Reverend James Chapman, DD, in Muthwal. The school continued in Muthwal for 67 years before it had to be transplanted by the then Warden Reverend William Arthur Stone in 1918 to Mount Lavinia, where it has stood to date.
US President Donald Trump announced that he agreed to a trade deal with India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi, where the US will lower tariffs on goods from India to 18% from 25%.
In a post on Truth Social, Trump said India will reduce trade barriers to zero and will also stop buying Russian oil. An additional 25% tariff penalty imposed for Delhi's refusal to stop buying oil from Russia will also be dropped. The announcement comes less than a week after India and the European Union announced a landmark trade deal that capped nearly 2 decades of on-off talks. Modi said on X that he is delighted that an agreement with the US has been reached. In the post, Trump said that a morning phone call with Modi included discussions of trade and the Russia-Ukraine war. Trump wrote, quote, he agreed to stop buying Russian oil and to buy much more oil from the United States and potentially Venezuela, unquote. Trump added that at Modi's request, he immediately agreed to a trade deal that would see tariffs lowered and India's tariffs and non-tariff barriers reduced to zero. Additionally, Trump said Modi committed to buying more than $500 billion worth of American goods, including energy, technology, technology, agriculture and coal products. The trade relationship between the US and India has been strained since the US imposed 50% tariffs on goods from India, the highest for a country in Asia, in August, including a 25% penalty linked to India's purchase of Russian oil. A White House official confirmed to foreign media that the Russian oil-linked tariffs will be dropped as part of the agreement and other tariffs lowered to put the rate at 18%. Indian exports to the US plummeted sharp as Trump's tariffs took effect. Officials in Delhi have been seeking partnerships with other countries also grappling with Trump's tariffs.
Iran's president says that he instructed the country's foreign minister to pursue fair and equitable negotiations with the United States. The first clear sign from Tehran it wants to try to negotiate as tensions remain high with Washington after the Middle East country's bloody crackdown on nationwide protests last month.
The announcement marked a major turn for reformist President Masoud Pezeshkian, who broadly had warned Iranians for weeks the turmoil in his country had gone beyond his control. It also signals that the president received support from Iran's supreme leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei for talks that the 86-year-old cleric previously had dismissed. Turkey had been working behind the scenes to make the talks happen there later this week, as US Mid-East envoy Steve Witkoff will be traveling to the region. But whether Iran and the US can reach an agreement remains to be seen, particularly as President Donald Trump now has included Iran's nuclear program in a list of demands from Tehran in any talks. Trump ordered the bombing of 3 Iranian nuclear sites during the 12-day war Israel launched against Iran in June. Writing on X, Pezeshkian said in English and Farsi that the decision came after requests from friendly governments in the region to respond to the proposal by the President of the United States for negotiations. The US has yet to acknowledge the talks will take place.
The third T20 international between Sri Lanka and England is underway at the Pallekele International Cricket Stadium. Winning the toss and batting first, England posted a total of 128 runs for the loss of 9 wickets. Chasing a target of 129 runs, Sri Lanka are currently 62 for the loss of 4 wickets at the end of a short while ago. Moving on, Pakistan's squad taking The Pakistan squad taking part in the 2026 ICC Men's T20 World Cup arrived in Sri Lanka today.
The ICC Men's T20 World Cup 2026 kicks off on the 7th February with Pakistan taking on the Netherlands. Pakistan will compete under Group A, which also includes India, Namibia, the Netherlands and the United States. Pakistan has announced it will boycott its Group A match against India, scheduled for the 15th February in Colombo. Despite the Pakistan Cricket Board echoing the government's decision to boycott the T20 World Cup 2026 Group A fixture against India, Team India will reportedly follow ICC protocol and travel to Sri Lanka, waiting for the match referee to formally call off the game.
Oman produced a clinical run chase to beat Sri Lanka A by 5 wickets in the ICC Men's T20 World Cup warm-up game at the Colombo Cricket Club ground today, sealing victory with 12 balls to spare.
Batting first, Sri Lanka A posted 145 runs for the loss of 9 wickets in their 20 overs, with Vanuja Sahan and Chaminda Wijayasinghe providing late acceleration after early wickets disrupted momentum. Oman's attack struck regularly, led by Shah Faisal and J. Udedra. In reply, Oman's innings was powered by a blistering 80 of 47 deliveries from Amir Khalim, cracking 8 fours and 3 sixes to put the chase firmly under control. Despite Vanuja Sahan's superb 3 for 16, Oman crossed the target in 18 overs through a calm finish from Vinayak Shukla, who remained unbeaten on 39 of 24.
And that's a wrap of Primetime News on TV1 for tonight.
Thank you for watching.